I did.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
All right, I call the meeting to order, Fire Service Membership Council. We'll go ahead and do a roll call, please.
All right, let me just get that up here. Caught me a little off guard with that call. I do have it. Okay. Tim Diehl, I see you.
Yep.
Doug Nelson. Fire Marshal Nelson.
Just eating lunch.
Hey, gotcha. Great, thanks. Chief Adams. Chief Adams. Hey, Christine, just a quick note. We'll need to update Chief Adams to Fire Chief. Fire Marshal Ted Black.
I'm on, Carl.
Gotcha, sir. Thank you. Rick Boisford. Rick Boisford. Darcy Davidson.
I'm here. I'm just on my phone, so no camera.
Hello, Chief. Michael Desrochers.
Michael sent a note that he was not going to be able to make it today.
I think I heard Chief Hyde. BJ, you with us?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Ed Kaminsky.
Ed said that he might be delayed if he's able to make it.
Got it. Chief Lefevre, see you. How are you?
Good. Happy to be here. Happy New Year.
We'll need to update some information for Chief Lefevre as well, too, Christine. Marshal Lund. I think I saw you. Yep, saw you in the chat. Larry Medina.
Present.
Gotcha. Kelly Nicolello.
Here.
Gotcha, sir. Brendan Sullivan, you with us? Brandon Sullivan. Okay. And I believe we've got Director Toomey as well. And that
I am here.
Great. That does it for us. Carl and Christine are here. So, Tim, you got a quorum. The meeting is yours.
Very good. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful and safe holiday. It's good to be back with everyone here. Welcome to all the guests, as well as our new members who just started, one of which is here. Darcy, congratulations. Welcome. Looking forward to a new year and getting things started. We're going to do a kind of a guest presentation this month. Our director Toomey has graciously to give us a presentation. I thought with all the CO, the cold weather that's across the country, it would be a good reminder. And unfortunately, he had the deaths that occurred up there. So we're just going to let him, I'll give the presentation over to him and kind of speak about the CO and the investigation and just overall CO safety. Sean, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Tim. I was going to do a fancy PowerPoint, but I didn't get that far the way the week's been going. But so as some of you probably heard, we had a Christmas Day. We were notified in our office of a quadruple fatal related to suspected to be carbon monoxide. So statutorily, my office is responsible, like many state fire marshals' offices, to investigate fire deaths and carbon monoxide deaths that occur in the state. So we responded up to Wakefield, New Hampshire. It was a vacation home for a family out of Newton, Massachusetts. The family had gone up for the weekend and kind of spending the time through the holidays at their vacation home. It was a single family home with they did have an Airbnb component to the lower level, which included 2 bedrooms and a small like kitchen area and living space. So the family arrived at their home on the Friday night before Christmas. and had intended to be with family on the holiday. When they didn't respond to texts or phone calls with all four of them when they expected to be at an event, family members reached out to the Wakefield Police Department, who went and did a welfare check on the family. When they got to the house, it was a long driveway. We had snow the Monday night into Tuesday morning, and the driveway was still snow covered, and there were no tracks in the driveway other than some deer tracks. They got into the house and found, up closer to the house and found also no tracks around the house. So they broke into the home and immediately discovered a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old deceased in their bedrooms. So they retreated from the house suspecting something was going on. They called the fire department. Fire department got there, did some metering. By the time they got there, with having broken into the space, into the room, that the CO levels were lower at that time, but they still suspected that there was a CO component to it. So that's when they notified us. We sent a crew up to the scene, processed it through the evening into the late into the night. What we found was, they back up. The police and fire department ultimately found a deceased adult male and a deceased adult female in the house as well. And so through our investigation, we identified a propane heating system that was located in a mechanical space in this house, that the venting had come apart. And we had some follow-up assistance with some of our mechanical inspectors and some of our mechanical licensing inspectors, which is another division within the state that deals with the licensing side, come out and do a little bit further analysis on the system itself. And it looked like from all the indications we saw on the scene, that the system wasn't running properly, and had an event that created the piping system to come apart. So it was one of the dual vent intake and exhaust, and the exhaust side was broken. So we confirmed that in a vehicle parked in a garage were the likely only sources of carbon monoxide. No reason to believe that the car was running, and clearly the exhaust side was leaking. We ran the vent for a few minutes. Ran the furnace for a few minutes, and instantly in the room got elevated readings of carbon monoxide in the space. So at this point, we're actually still waiting on a formal cause and manner for the adult female. We ran into a little bit of trouble with our lab getting the blood results. And normally it's pretty quick, but they had to be sent out on all or 3 out of the 4 of these members. So we got the 19-year-old daughter and the 22-year-old daughter's blood work back yesterday, confirming their CO levels were 69 and over 70 in their blood, and the adult male was up over 70. So it's looking like an accidental at this point. We don't have any reason to believe it's anything other than an accidental cause. We've learned subsequent to through further investigation that the family was having some problems with the heating system late in the spring. And the other big issue that obviously we identified, and it's been an unfortunate trend with any of the cases we found on our fire deaths and our carbon monoxide deaths this year, is the lack of alarms. So we've really pushed messaging subsequent to that, with losing all 4 families, right? You're supposed to be peak of the holiday season, spending time with your loved ones. And, unfortunately, this family learned of the tragic loss of 4 of their loved ones on the holiday. So we've been messaging again the smoke and carbon monoxide alarms pretty heavily through social media, as many means as possible. This one had a big toll on a lot of the first responders. So we really ramped up the critical incident stress debriefing side of things for the police and fire department and my office, which has proven pretty beneficial. We were fortunate to have some alarms donated from Kidda and we got about 800 alarms pushed out into the communities, actually just before this. And then just this week, we officially launched the CPSC grant that we received. And we're going to be partnering up with the American Red Cross to put alarms into hopefully 500 homes in the state. So I think the messaging we continue to push, and I think, you know, all of us need to push, is the importance of having the working carbon monoxide alarms in the homes and smoke alarms in the homes. And we've been hitting hard on the importance of installations by licensed technicians and routine maintenance by licensed technicians to make sure equipment's running properly. So it's just kind of a quick high level. You know, I think Carl and Tim and Christine and Doug and I talked a little bit, and this one hit national news. I think I got quite a few people across the country said they saw me on TV, and I said, boy, that's going to be quite a nightmare when they're across the country and seeing me and they're showing up on your news channels. But you know, I think we had a couple big ones similar to us across the country in the last couple of weeks, and it's just a good reminder to, as the winter months and the heating equipment starts to ramp up in most of the country, to stress the need for those maintenance items and those CO and smoke alarms. So Tim, I don't know if you had anything else particular, if anyone had any questions, you know, try to answer questions. I mean, it's still technically an active investigation, so you know, but I think most of it's pretty clear now, and we just kind of wrapping up things now, waiting for the final cause and manner of death from our medical examiner's office.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Sean. It's, you know, continue to get the message out. We're all facing it. Jeff, you want to have a question? Go ahead.
Well, just a comment. I know not everybody in this arena participates in code development, but it is important that everybody in this arena know what's been going on in code development. So a couple of points. One, to anybody in your jurisdiction or surrounding jurisdictions that you know that might be adopting the 24 or 21 edition of the IFC, those provisions on carbon monoxide are, I'll say, somewhere between insufficient and defective, depending on which edition you're in. The rewrite for the 27 edition is a complete replacement of IBC and IFC section 915, which is carbon monoxide. It's way better, not just in the residential, but also in commercial buildings. And I've been encouraging people whenever I have the opportunity that if you are in the process of adopting a prior edition, pick up and drop in the entirety of section 915 and that code change to replace what's in the previous edition of the code. The 27 edition of the text was approved by the committee. There were no comments disagreeing with that action of the committee. So what's going into the 27 code is known 100%. It's not subject. It's on the consent agenda, so it's not subject to change. But it's very important that people pick that up, because the 24 edition of the code on CO, I think, is impossible to interpret and arguably defective. Also, I want to make everybody aware that in Group B, I've got 3 code changes in that are going to address deficiencies in smoke and CO detection for existing. One of those changes is going to change the deferral to the IRC in Chapter 1 that's in the fire code to not defer for existing smoke and CO alarms, and require that all existing 1 and 2 family dwellings comply with the provisions in IFC Chapter 11 to be retrofitted with smoke and CO. I also am closing a loophole in the IBC, and I'm putting in a new appendix in the IPMC that will mirror the short-term rental requirements. You mentioned this as a short-term rental. The new Appendix P in the fire code, which is recommended for approval, but could potentially change at final action, is a short-term rental appendix. It has comprehensive safety regulations for short-term rentals, and it requires short-term rentals to meet the smoke and CO requirements for new construction, sans the power supply and potentially interconnection. So there is a lot in the code dealing with this if people comply with it, but to the extent that you're able to pre-adopt the 27 code on CO requirements and keep an eye on what happens in Group E to close these other, what I would argue are loopholes in the code, I think the 27 code will hopefully be way better on this topic.
Thank you, sir. And as always, great information. I appreciate it. Something for us all to be aware of. Anybody else have any comments or questions for Director Toomey? All right, very good. Again, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. We'll be looking forward to more updates. We'll go ahead and continue on. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? I'm not seeing anything, so hold those. Approval of the minutes. Everybody should have received a copy of the minutes in the link. Are there any, is there a motion for the minutes?
So moved.
Second? Come on, guys. I need participation. Give me a second.
Second from Larry Medina.
Thank you, sir. I'll save it all. And anybody opposed to the minutes? Move that the minutes are approved as they are. Go ahead. I have a quick introduction. I know Darcy is on here. I'm going to put her on the spot as one of our new governing committee members. Darcy, if you want to just kind of say a few words and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, good morning. Hi, sorry, I just had to respond to a call real quick. So I'm just hopping back on. I'm Darcy Davidson. I'm the new fire marshal in Carlsbad, California. I've been involved with California fire prevention officers for over 10 years, and I am super excited to be part of this group.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it. Looking forward to having you on board and getting your input. I know we've had it in years past, and you will continue to do a great job. I'll next get into the work groups, the chairs. We're going to kind of redo the work groups a little bit as far as member engagement and training and education. I have spoken with a couple of them. I know Jonathan Lund, I put you on the spot earlier. And we'll be working with training and education to get that group together. Jonathan won't be able to lead it, but he will be participating in it. So more to come on that. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and work into our work groups. And I know they haven't really met besides one. But I'll go ahead and put Chief Medina or Fire Marshal Medina on the post and let him introduce himself as the chair of the Member Engagement Committee.
Thank you, Chair. As Chair said, Larry Medina. I've been on the membership council for 3 years. I was just looking back at that, and that's been a fast 3 years. Anyhow, at the in-person meeting in Long Beach, I approached Tim, let him know I was interested, if needed, to chair the membership committee. And speaking with him, basically, and eventually working with everybody, is try to align the membership committee with the other ones. So you have these cascading type of coordination and cooperation, so that we have some added value to the membership. You can go back to your agency and show the work that the committee's doing, and how valuable your participation is to continue to support membership. So all in all, we haven't met. I looked at the agenda and my eyes got big. But anyhow, we haven't met. I'm looking forward to meetings. If anybody's interested, I'll try to wrangle things up. But I'm sure that as far as participation in the meeting, it's open to all, as far as I know. And then we'll look for some members who have the time and can commit to providing the needed piece for the membership. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And yes, we'll get you some people on that. And of course, anybody on this call is more than welcome to attend these committee meetings and participate, and we encourage it. The more voices we have, the better we will be as a group. Emerging trends and issues. Again, Mr. Desrochers was unable to meet. However, he did provide a report, as we did meet on the 13th of January with 10 people. During that meeting, the 2025 goals were discussed and a draft created. The form which we currently use to capture new topics, we're going to looking at modifying it a little bit, and going to try to make it a little bit more web access. I'll be working with our partners on that to get that into the member engagement platform. The other important item to note is that the time of the monthly calls, they're still on Monday, the third Monday of the month, but it's been changed to 2 to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So those meetings will change a little bit, but as always, it's a good group and a lot of information comes out of that. Move on to public awareness. Kelly.
Yeah, good afternoon or good morning, everybody. We have not met this month. I made the mistake of not getting our schedule on the calendars for the full year as a recurring meeting from last year. So we missed our normal meeting date. And so that is usually the second Thursday of the month, and at 12 noon Central. And we invite anybody who wants to be a part of that, helping with articles and information that we accumulate from some of the other committees, helping us write those things, and moving into a greater emphasis with some social media ideas that we're working on. And so we expect to be able to start putting out information. And Jeff, going back to you about that information that you talked about with the codes, just between us on the road and everybody else in the phone call here, I think that would make a great article. If you can maybe run a synopsis on how best to do that based on the 21 and 24 version of the codes versus what's coming out in the 27 for future adoption. If you're willing, and I'll contact you at a later date. I think that could be a really good article to start off with the new year, being that it's unfortunately pertinent to the time of year and the situations we've seen already. So that's all I've got right now. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And as I mentioned, training and education, I know Jonathan's on here, but I'm going to find him some help. We will be looking for people to assist with that, what we want to kind of revamp and where we want this education piece to go. So be expecting some more emails, phone calls from me as we continue to move in through the year. Move into reports from officers and liaisons. And Director Toomey, once again, the floor is yours.
Back. So we have really not had any substantial board meetings since the last time I think we met. There's a whole bunch of committee work going on. There you go. A whole bunch of committee work going on. I'm assigned to the policy committee, and actually Director Hyen's also on the call, and he chairs our policy committee group, and we've been busy working on some work around the standards process and making sure the standards policies follow the path that they should, reflect with the ANSI work and the Canadian standards, and then making sure that the others group is following what we believe should be to align with best practices and the trends coming out of what we learned out of the energy codes and things like that. So we have a meeting coming up probably in the next couple of weeks with the board to talk about that and anything else that might pop up. But I know a lot of us have been busy at swearing in ceremonies at the first of the year with new chapters, which has been great. I've had been able to go to a few myself, and just looking forward to getting out to different chapters and sharing information. So I know the other probably big that's going on is the strategic planning initiative is underway. I think we're looking forward to hearing an update at our next meeting as well. But they're in the trying to identify a vendor to help develop that and build that out. So those I think are probably the big things. I'll defer to Director Hine to see if he's got anything I might have missed.
Thank you, Director Toomey. Yeah, it's going to be a busy year for the board, as you're already hearing. Obviously the work of the council spans in a lot of different territories. And I would just like to, echo that it's wonderful to be here with the Fire Service Membership Council and listen to the good work that you're putting on. Chairman Diehl, well done, as always, sir. Good to see you again, my friend. But no, I would just remind everyone that we have some calls out for some committee applications, whether that's service, if you'd like to get your feet wet on code development, with the subcommittees associated with the energy code. That's a really great place to be able to get some involvement if you'd like to. And then also, I believe I think it's February 7th. I could be wrong in that. I'll double check and put it in the chat for you if you like. But we have the call out for education and training coming up for the spring hearings. So if you'd like to be part of that, we know we have some very talented educators in this room that do quite a lot to improve the professional development of membership throughout ICC. And we'd love to see you all take advantage of that opportunity if you'd like. So thank you very much. And with that, I believe we might have a couple of other directors around if you'd like to recognize them, sir.
Yes, I'm looking through the list and I couldn't see any right off the bat, but any other directors online would like to say something, please do. All right. Again, thank you, sir. Always good to see you. And looking forward to another exciting year. Reports from the chair. Here again, it's been a busy start for the year for us all, getting everything organized and together. The membership steering committee will be meeting the 28th. We'll be working on that. We'll remind, I know an ICC email was sent out that reminded everybody to sign up for the new membership engagement platform. I'm going to stress that again. This is where a lot of the information is now coming from our members and the other councils. It's a great resource, and I'm going to again ask everyone to please sign up on that. It's part of your ICC membership. Basically, it's fairly easy to get to, but that is going to be our primary focus of getting information out, especially to the members of the governing councils. So that's really my big strife right now. Like I said, we all have a lot of irons. Marshal Nelson, do you have anything for report, please, sir?
That was actually going to be my only question. I thought there was something online that I was supposed to sign up for that hadn't yet. So I was just going to see if maybe Carl or somebody would be able to share the link to that and make that simpler for me to go in and actually get signed up for. The only other question I had was maybe for Carl, and that's for those of us that will be at CFSI next month. Are there any talking points or items that we want to make sure if we do meet with our delegation out there that we'd want to be mentioning or pushing?
Sure. No, glad to send out. We'll plan to send out an update to the whole governing committee around using the online resource, and we'll also make sure that the folks that are not with us on this call today get that information too. So glad to do that. In terms of talking points for the Hill, we'll have a couple from the ICC side. And then largely speaking, what we do is we will incorporate the talking points that Michaela Campbell and the folks at the Congressional Fire Services Institute are putting together in terms of where the fire service is headed in terms of agenda on the Hill. So we will get that together ahead of your all's arrival. If folks that are coming would let us know if you're planning on taking meetings on the Hill, we will be glad to support those in any way possible. And if you would like us to help you facilitate any meetings on the Hill to talk through any of the ICC talking points, we can do that too. So hopefully that answers your questions, Doug.
Yep. Other than that, I had nothing.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, sir. Lisa? Emerging Leaders, thank you very much. She actually posted a link in the chat, so if you want to get there. But we'll segue right into Carl or Christine, whoever wants to do the report from ICC staff.
I will defer to Carl.
And I'm back. Hi, everybody. Just the first note that I've got for you is that FEMA's Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Program, or BRIC program, has opened for fiscal year 2024, which is calendar year now 2025, of course. We are excited to announce that the Building Codes Plus Up for states and territories is included in the $750 million allocated for BRIC this year. So a quick rundown, and we will have a fact sheet that will be posted. I'm looking at it actually in final draft right now. It's going to be posted to our website, and we have, I'll just put it here in the chat too. The ICC website is iccsafe.org/BRIC. So I just put that in the chat. You'll be able to go there and see the updated information here pretty soon, just as soon as we are able to get this final through our marketing department. So again, $750 million coming from FEMA. State and territory based allocations again at $112 million, which equates to $2 million per state and territory for BRIC related projects. But the Building Codes Plus Up that is applicable to building and fire code officials and also floodplain managers as well as another audience. That is another $112 million, again, $2 million per state and territory. And there's also a tribal codes plus up set aside of $25 million for all federally recognized tribes across the nation. So this is really a hallmark event for us every year. There are a lot of really great projects that have gone through and that we've seen executed by even members of this group, including Marshal, Desrochers, and others that have taken advantage of this. So we'll get the information out to you. I believe this closes in April. Friday. State applications are due to FEMA by April 18th. So the important caveat with that is that means that the state, who is your state administrative agency through their emergency management organization, has those applications due to FEMA by April 18th. In most, if not all cases, the state publishes its own dates for when those sub-applications are due to the state. So April 18th, the state sends to FEMA. Your application deadline will vary by state, territory, or tribe, and that will mean that you'll have to get that application in ahead of time. So if we can help you with that, please reach out to me, and I will be glad to put you in touch with Stella Carr, who's leading this from our staff as well too. Many of you know her, so please feel free to go direct. If you already know her, if you'd like a warm introduction or some coordination, I'll be glad to do that, as well as any of our team will be glad to do that too. So that wraps up BRIC and brings me into introductions of our new team. So you heard me talk about we've onboarded 4 new folks in the government relations side of the house that are working purely on fire and disaster mitigation activities. I'd like to introduce you to them all briefly here today. I'm going to start with Mark Roberts. I know that Mark is driving today, and I saw him on the call. Mark, if you're able to come off mute and say a quick hello and just talk about your transition over from state and local over to our team, that'd be great. And then I'll take it through the rest of the folks.
Hey, everybody. Good to see everyone. I think I know a lot of you that are on this call today. Again, I'm Mark Roberts. I formerly was the Senior Regional Manager of Government Relations, serving in the Southeast. So I'm really excited about the transition over to this new team, and looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you.
Fantastic, Mark. Thanks. So Mark's located in Louisiana. Many, if not all of you, already know Christine. So I would like to reintroduce Christine formally in her new role as Fire and Disaster Mitigation Program Manager and have her say a few words and welcome. Love having you here. So.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I know many people here. I'm Christine Reed. I am out in the Bay Area of California, retired fire service, retired as battalion chief fire marshal for a fire organization here in the Bay Area. I have been on the Fire Service Membership Council, just termed off last year. And was chair of the Fire Service Membership Council for 2 years during that tenure. So I'm excited to be in this role to continue serving and supporting the Fire Service Membership Council and the needs that all of you have as the membership and the governing committee as we move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Christine. And you guys are going to see that Christine's going to be sending out the invitations and doing a lot more of the coordination around this meeting now too, since she's on board full time and so familiar with this group. The other thing that I'll mention is that it's our intent to assign each one of the folks that you're being introduced here to each of the work groups. So we'll have one member assigned to each of the 4 work groups, and then I'll kind of work amongst all of them and coordinate. But we'll have that information for you in time for next month's meetings on the work groups and this larger meeting as well. So looking forward to that. With no further ado here, I'd like to next introduce Sarah Carter from Colorado, and she'll give you a little background on what she's been up to prior to coming to the ICC. Sarah, you're up.
Thanks, Carl. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Carter. As Carl mentioned, I'm in Colorado. I'm up about an hour north of Denver. Lived here pretty much my entire life. So I know a few of you. I'm looking forward to getting to know several more of you over the next several years. And let's see, my background, I most recently came from the state of Colorado, where I was the professional development unit chief and oversaw training and continuing education delivery for our building and fire code professionals across the state. Before that, I was with Poudre Fire Authority up in Fort Collins for 5 years as an assistant fire marshal, running the construction and development related programs for fire prevention there. And then in my career before fire, I was a building plans examiner for the Fort Collins Building Department for several years. And prior to that was a project manager for a local design build firm. So that's a little bit about me, and I look forward to getting to know all of you.
Thank you, Sarah. And last but certainly not least, Justice Jones, who comes to us hails from Austin, Texas. And go ahead and introduce yourself, Justice. And some of these folks you may know, and others it will be brand new. So take it away.
Thank you, Carl. Lots of new names. But it is good to see my friend Jeff Shapiro on the call. Hey, Jeff. I joined ICC from the Austin Fire Department, where I led the wildfire division and our citywide efforts to mitigate wildfire risk over about the last decade or so, including culminating in Austin adopting the ICC Wildland Urban Interface Code. Prior to that, I coordinated statewide wildfire preparedness and prevention for the Texas A&M Forest Service for about a decade, and I really cut my teeth in wildland fire. I'm predominantly wildland fire in background in New Mexico, where I worked in one of the most at-risk villages in the country at the time. So I'm excited to bring anything that I can to the table and looking forward to working with everybody to support the mission. So thank you.
Thank you, Justice. So that rounds out the team. We're really excited to have those folks on board. We're going to be doing a team offsite here later this month and coming together to map out our strategy, our goals, and then the objectives to implement those. So I would expect to be able to share with you coming up soon a number of items along the lines of what our anticipated lines of effort will be, and some of the things that we're going to be trying to do to broaden our footprint and serve our members in a much enhanced way. So for the board members that are on the call, Director Toomey, I know Director McDaniel was on, Andre, others. Thank you very much for the vote of support and the resources to expand this team. We are super excited, and I just saw Allison's comment in there. I share your sentiment, Allison. Absolutely a rock star team, and we're very fortunate to have these folks here. So I'm looking forward to what we can bring to the table here going forward. couple other notes of things that I will just flag for you is that myself and Vicki Pritchett from the National Fire Sprinkler Association have been asked to lead the United States Fire Administration's Codes and Standards Work Group this year. An invitation was just sent out for our initial meeting, which will occur a week from today at 1 o'clock Eastern. I sent that to folks that were named for the committee this year, as well as others who participated in previous years. We've done some really great work in there. I would invite anyone that is on this call, if you'd like to participate in that and have a stakeholder interest in shaping what the fire administration can put together and then pull through our Congressional Fire Services Institute fire service organizations and create as policy priorities for Capitol Hill. You are welcome to join us again. That meeting kicks off next week, Thursday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time for an hour. And you're all welcome to join if you have a stakeholder interest in that. The more the merrier. And Vicki and I will be sending out the agenda first of the week on that. So that piece of it is moving forward. And with that, I'll yield time back and thank you very much for the opportunity to update you on what's going on here at ICC.
No, thank you very much, Carl. Again, yeah, I agree. It's a rock star team. Looking forward to working with them and expecting great things to continue. Anybody have any questions or comments for Carl? Great, seeing none, we'll continue on. The Membership Council Officers Liaisons, Building Membership Council. I know I did see Tom on there and I see Allison, so I don't know if either one of you would like to say something real quick.
Thanks, Tim. I'm not the liaison for BMC anymore. I'm termed out, so I'm just monitoring what y'all got going, but thank you, sir.
And I realized that, but I wasn't sure, and since your name was still there, I left it there. So Allison, fill us in.
Sure. So sorry my camera is not on, doing a couple of different things simultaneously today. BMC, we had our first meeting. We elected Rachel Parrish as chair and myself as vice chair, and then Andy from Seattle as our secretary. We're excited to kick off a new year. Similar to fire service, we're spinning up our committees and looking for volunteers, and we'll be trying to leverage Monday, which hopefully I or someone else will be coming back from the steering committee to help everybody get comfortable with putting in all the different work group steps that everyone has. But that's really where we're at. The only thing, if you're interested in us working together on, say, education, if there's a joint education thing, fire service, BMC also has an education committee, really modeled off of y'all because you were doing that so well during your meetings that we stole it. And then we also have an ongoing effort to support code development and code participation. Things like checking, does the building official or code official have everybody listed, especially for fire service members. You may want to coordinate with your building official and make sure you're listed as a governing member, as someone who can, governmental relations can vote. And that's especially important as WUI becomes more relevant and other things. So we're looking to put that out. If anyone in fire service does want to partner, or there are other folks on the call, you can reach out to me. And I appreciate the time in the meeting to promote all of that. And would be remiss to not thank everyone for their service, living up in Washington State and watching, the effort in California where trucks from all over the world are coming to help people. It's incredible to see what the fire service does.
Thank you for the update. And yeah, I'm sure, as we have in the past, fire will always work with building and we'll collaborate and we'll put together some good programs. Membership Steering Council, as I mentioned, the meeting will be the 28th. We're going to be going over the Monday platform, again, using this for the goals for the membership councils. The first of the year, we'll also be electing the chair and vice chairs, as well as just getting an update on the annual report that was submitted and feedback along those lines. Allison, I'm going to throw you under the bus once again, but Carl has a question. Carl.
Sir, you're okay to continue. I just wanted to recognize a couple of people that are on once you're done with Allison.
Okay. Yeah, Allison, I didn't know if you wanted to fill in anything else on the membership steering council that I might have missed.
No, you covered it all. I think probably every membership council's next meeting, we're going to come back with feedback from that meeting, Tim. But otherwise, like, covered it all. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Carl.
Just a quick note, wanted to recognize that Director Bredmore is on, if you wanted to acknowledge him, and then also Director Metz is returning, so in case you wanted to acknowledge him as well.
Absolutely. Director Bredmore, do you have anything you'd like to add? Please do, sir.
Just happy to sign on with you folks today. Sorry I was a little late. I thought PMG was having their meeting today. Turns out that was postponed, same time. I'm also down to Region 7 today, spending that with those folks today. So look forward to learning some more on the call and all the great work. And happy to defer to my good friend, Randy Metz.
Thank you, Director Bredmore. It's great to be seen. I'm happy with you guys today and look forward to all the work that you guys are going to do this year. And hopefully I'll be back with you all in October in Cleveland and healed from the journey I'm on right now. So good luck and stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Director Metz, very excellent to see you. Continue to get well. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. You know that. You're one of us. So, but great to have you on board.
Thanks, Tim.
We'll continue on through here. Global Membership Council. Didn't know if anybody else was on. All right. I know they have a meeting coming up. Emerging leaders. I did see Lisa. You're on the call. Do you want to say a few words?
Sure. So ELMC met on Monday. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend. Director Bredmore, I think, was there, so he may have some updates. Otherwise, the next meeting is Monday, March 10th.
Okay. Director Bredmore, go right ahead.
Sure, I'd be happy to. ELMC did meet Monday. Good meeting, wrapping up some stuff from last year. They are getting ready to gear up the Vote for Your Codes initiative that fellow Director High-End started during his term there. Really gearing up for Orlando and things of that nature. So that was pretty much the highlight of the bulk of it. And there was some stuff that was planned was postponed due to scheduling in regards to the new online forum for member interactions and things like that we look forward to learning more about in the coming months. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other council liaisons on the call? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to ongoing business. Mr. Nelson did mention, the CFSI dinner is coming up as well as the symposium. There has been a group that is going to attend. Carl, do you want to give an update on that?
Yes, sir. So looking forward to seeing everybody in Washington, D.C. The leadership team from the Fire Service Membership Council came together and made some selections. Also, we're going to be joined by some of our board members as well. So from the executive board, we'll have Mike Boso joining us, who's our current vice president at ICC, and Director Angie Weezy, and then Director Sean Toomey. So those three will be joining us from the ICC board. Yourself as chair, Doug Nelson, vice chair, and then Kevin Lefevre will be joining us, coming in from Canada. Brian Frieders will be joining us. Many of you know, but for those of you who don't know Brian, Brian is going to be giving a presentation on basically special events and the codes. He's retired. Randy and Brian know each other really well. In fact, they were going to be teaching this together, but Randy's had to bow out. So we're glad to have Brian joining us. And Brian is fire chief, retired from Pasadena, California, but he currently works for Red Rock Entertainment. And he is leading a one-man, soon to be many of us, crusade in terms of bringing some rigor to incident management and codes and standards application to special events, particularly some of the larger concert venues that all of us attend for many of the entertainment functions that we go to, and standalone one-offs as well too. So we're going to invite him to the table. I'll be there, and then I'm also glad to announce that Sarah Carter is going to be able to join us and come in from Colorado. Well, so that rounds out our participation as it stands today. The Hill Day again is the 12th. The symposium and the dinner are on the 13th. I would put a shameless plug in for the symposium this year. I had the opportunity to be appointed as the chair of the programmatic subcommittee this year for the National Advisory Council for CFSI. And we had a team of 7 or 8 really great folks, including staff support from Michaela Campbell, to put this year's symposium presentation together. It's pretty blockbuster. It's going to be moving fast paced. So if you have the time and have the opportunity to go out to the CFSI website, I'll put the link in the chat as I always do. Take a look at that symposium presentation and see if you can pencil in some time to come hear some really great conversations that are going to take place from the National Fire Service. So that's the update there. I'll take any questions. If not, it's back to you, Tim.
All right. I see no questions. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. Again, it's always a good networking event, as well as a lot of good information. I'm actually looking forward to a couple of the presentations. So once again, find us. Moving into new business. I have no business. Does anybody else have any new business that they'd like to bring? Great. Not seeing anything. Our next meeting will be Thursday, February 20th at 1:30, as usual. Before I get to the comments and questions, I just want to reiterate one thing that was said earlier by Allison. And my thoughts, my prayers, are with everyone out in California battling that incredible disaster. Everyone, the sisters and brothers that are out there fighting and putting everything on the line, as well as the devastation that is just hard to imagine. And again, I just thoughts and prayers, and hope everyone continues to stay safe. On that note, I'll also ask
really
if anybody else.
Before you continue on too, I just wanted to recognize that Chief Sajewski is on from CAL FIRE. In the case that you wanted to give her an opportunity to give an update from the CAL FIRE perspective on what's up. And of course, I would echo what Tim just said as well too, in terms of our comments of support.
Thank you, Carl. I saw her earlier and I missed her. Crystal, would you like to give us an update real quick?
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. Crystal Sajewski, CAL FIRE Office State Fire Marshal. We continue to get updates every day. There is still red flag warning in effect. We have multiple resources. I can share with you a PDF of our latest and greatest numbers. If you're interested, I'll put that in the chat. But Palisades Fire, Eaton, Hearst, and Auto Fire in Ventura, as well as a small fire in San Bernardino, which is now 100% contained, are all making progress. But again, we are still in that red flag warning, and our personnel are getting to their limits. We have 16,800 plus personnel, firefighters, law enforcement, and emergency support personnel that are on the team. FEMA disaster recovery locations, there's 2 open right now. Hazardous waste removal teams are beginning to remove household hazardous waste. And then a lot of questions around ESS and lithium-ion battery removals. So again, I'll put some talking points from the PIO and contact for anyone's interest. But thank you. Appreciate the kind words.
Thank you. Jeff, you had a comment, question?
Yeah, just real briefly, I want to congratulate Carl for putting together such an incredible team. And since he's from Austin, I want to give a particular shout out to Justice. He's relatively new to this arena, but he is not new at all to the wildfire WUI space. In fact, I consider him to be at the top of the nation's leading experts in that, and he is an incredible get for ICC to bring in that level of talent in the wildland urban interface space, especially with what's going on in California. But I think he's going to be a great addition to the team to really help us promote the WUI code and have a national leader in that space as part of the ICC group. So welcome to Justice, and I hope everybody else gets to know you as well as I do. I'm really happy to see you as part of the ICC team.
Thank you, Jeff. And I'm in great company with the rest of the team and everybody involved. So I really appreciate that. And I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And like you said, we all agree it is an outstanding team. And like I said, I can't wait to work with all of them. Any other questions, comments from the audience? Kara, go ahead. So.
Hi, hi everybody, and I agree. Great team. I know Sarah, and she is going to be a great addition to ICC. So, one thing I just want to put out there, since this crosses the country, we already have legislation being drafted for what they call now Smart Stair, and it is all about the single stair. Initiative, and even though they gained a small amount of traction in the codes this year, they still want to push more. And I think we just should have a collaborated effort across the country to be able to stop some of these individual pieces coming in through legislation at the state level. And so I just wasn't sure if ICC was aware that they are coming back this year and still trying to put more legislation into play at the state level. So I just, and if anybody else throughout the country is dealing with this as well, I think it's good for all of us to kind of be on the same page.
And I would agree. And I know all the legislators have just kicked in. Carl, I'm sure I know you have some updates, so go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just Sarah here really quick without her advanced knowledge. She was kind enough to flag this for us yesterday, Kara. So she's on it, as well as we see a number of these things popping up. So Sarah, I didn't know if you wanted to just kind of give that quick summary that you sent around yesterday on this issue, just as a use case example of what's starting to come about there in Colorado, if you had just a second to share that.
Sure. Let me grab that real quick and I will get you all the highlights.
Yeah, I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I think
no worries.
That's it's good. And one of the things that I'll speak to while you're looking that up is just really quick to say that with the expanded team that we have now, being able to stay on top of these emerging issues and trends, and particularly these big topics to do with the fire service, that is going to be a key piece for us working alongside of our partners on the technical services team, particularly our fire protection engineering team. I saw Julie's on. I don't know if Paul's on today or Beth, or Scott Adams either. But I just wanted to say that that's one of those areas that I think, in terms of tracking things that are happening in our process, being able to communicate those things out effectively, and then be able to be present and accounted for in the national conversation in a way that's appropriate, given that much of this will likely play out in our code development process. That is a fine line to walk, but we've got a great team that will do that. And I think we're going to have somebody kind of spearheading that effort moving forward to make sure that these critical issues like batteries and energy storage, like single stair, and other national level topics are communicated out more frequently and with more substance. So Sarah, hopefully I danced for a couple of seconds there and teed you up appropriately. So there you
I
go.
appreciate that. I've got it queued up. So there was a single stair bill that came through Colorado legislation last year and was tabled indefinitely. But we are expecting it to see, or expecting to see it come back forward this year with sponsorship from 2 members of the Colorado legislature. The initial drafts that we've seen indicate that the proponents have broadened their list of affordability benefits in defense of the proposal, but they still haven't added any offsetting code measures to kind of offset that reduction in the number of stairs. The bill they do intend to move the bill forward despite discussion happening at the ICC code development process level. Partly because they feel like it's going to take too long if they wait for the 2027 codes, and also because they feel like what's moving forward in the ICC process will be too restrictive for what they want to see. The biggest development was last week. The Colorado governor did take a clear position in support of this bill. They're calling it the Smart Stair legislation. During the State of the State address. So we did see him come out in support of that. So the Colorado chapter of the ICC has assigned someone to monitor this from that subcommittee or that committee. And then I know FMAC is monitoring it as well. I'm sure Kara's all over it, but Stephen Parker's also been involved in discussions with the Colorado chapter. And then Leslie Garland and I will also be monitoring this very closely for this legislative session. So if there are any questions, just let me know.
Jeff, you have a comment or question?
Just a comment, I'm guessing a lot of people on the call, if you're involved in code development, know I've taken a pretty prominent position on this issue in trying to facilitate a ICC solution to this. I've been working closely with Stephen Smith, who was the proponent that brought this forward in the code development arena. We came to agreement on what is going through the ICC process now. My estimation is that that is largely done and likely, if not, I'd say 90% probable that it will go into the 27 code. I know that it's already a model in a number of jurisdictions because I've received communication from people who have told me that they're using that to essentially get ahead of this legislative activity that's been going on in various places, taking a proactive approach. And basically it takes the progression of incremental progress where we look at 4 stories with a set of safety features to see how it works. And for proponents that want to look at 5 stories or taller, it sets the baseline safety package of 4 stories at what's in the code and potentially looking at you do taller buildings as alternative methods with additional safety measures. But I'm happy to assist anybody who has a need for that background, that what took place at the NFPA, what's taken place in the ICC. I recently participated on a call with Minnesota to bring them up to speed on what's going on. The most important thing, quite frankly, is we need to not infight. What I'm seeing in some places is that the union is pushing, based on this issue, for more manpower and apparatus to justify giving taller buildings. And we're seeing a split between people who are in the code arena who see the benefit of providing a code-based solution and people in the suppression arena that are arguing that that's still not enough. We need to get more apparatus and personnel. So I think for us, at least on the code side of things and the membership council side of things, we need to try to get the fire service to present a unified message in support of what's going through the ICC process and make that the baseline.
Thank you, sir. As always, good comments, good input. Anyone else have any comments or questions? All right, good of the order. Anyone have anything for the good of the order? Seeing none, I will look for a motion to adjournment. This is usually where everybody jumps up and says something.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second from Larry.
Thank you. I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you for your attendance. Be good, be warm, be safe, and we will see you soon. Take care.